You are building a biggest enemy, and that is your boss. There are 4 red lines that you should not step on it. Once you step on it, your boss will be very angry with you and he might even fire you. Red line number 1. Boss does not want to be a firefighter role. Now think of it, sometimes there is a problem, but you want to keep it silent. You think that I can solve it by myself. But hey, once a problem is getting so big until you cannot solve it by yourself, only you come to the boss and say, boss, I need your help, I need your help. And the boss said, why can't you tell me earlier? This is the resources right now, I'm going to put in so much. Who's going to bear the losses? Now, you should be telling boss, the problems one is getting bigger and you don't think you can solve it. Now, always go to the boss with the problem and solution, but at least the discussion with the boss has to be carried out in a much earlier stage, but not when it is not salvageable. This is the red line number 1. Number 2, you cannot make your boss to be perceived as a very bad boss. Now, when a client is complaining about your products, you say, "Aiyo, you see, this is my boss say, and my boss say cannot." Hey, when your boss made a decision of not going ahead to promote this product, there is a lot of underlying decision, a lot of reasons that he thought through before he made a holistic decision. But when you just tell the client, say, "Oh, my boss do not agree. He said this product cannot be used," we say no to your proposal. You see, you are making your boss look so bad in front of the customers. Now, if this screenshot being interject and your boss found out that you screenshot the conversation between you yourself and also with the customers, what he would think? He would think that you have made him to be such a bad guy in front of the customer. And from the other side of the customer, he'll think that, hey, I know that you're not a decision maker. Your boss said no, then you say no. What's the point of talking to you? Might as well talk to your boss. Worse still, you make the client do not trust you anymore. What's the benefit you can get from here? You are making yourself as the different parties. You are making yourself as not someone, it's a stakeholders that involved in this discussion. The trust from the customer who goes down. So trust is very hard to be built and easily broken. And in this case, you are building a biggest enemy, and that is your boss, but not your client. Number 3, you should stop the problem, not to pass on the problem to someone else. When the boss says, hey, how do you solve this issue? And you say, boss, this is the issue, these are problems raised by XYZ. Hey, this is the red line that you should be avoiding. The boss expects you to give solution. I know this is not your fault, but give the impression to your boss that whenever the problem comes to you, you are the MacGyver. You are able to solve the issue, but not just passing to someone else. And the moment the problem comes to you, even though this is not your issue, you can solve it. The boss will think that this is a good talent. Every time I give you the problem, you can solve it. Take the crisis into the opportunity. This is a red line. You should not step on it. Don't pass the issue to someone else. The 4th red line you should be thinking through is not to say no to the boss. Now, when the boss asks you to do something, most of the time, you just think of, this one cannot, this one cannot, this one cannot. Inside your head, you already thought through, what are the 10 reasons of not able to do so? Now, let's do a role play. If the boss say, okay, I'm going to make sure next year we set up a company in Indonesia. Inside your head, this is a tough uphill task. You are going to say, no, number 1, no, number 2, no, number 3. Okay, let's do a role play. If the boss asked you, okay, next year we're going to set up a company in Indonesia. And you say, boss, no, we're going to not able to do this because number 1, Indonesia politics not stable. Number 2, resources not enough. Number 3, manpower not enough. The boss perceive you a guy who always say no. You are not able to help me to solve the issue. Sometimes it is okay for you to stop for a while and digest. What you should be doing next is this. You're going to tell boss, in order to set up the company in Indonesia, I need the resources from you. Resources number 1, I need the resources of money. Number 2, I need the resources of time. Tell the boss in the form of what I need from you, but not in the form of no, cannot be done. Think differently. Boss need the solution, but not a problem. Always think before you answer the boss. So there are these 4 red lines that you need to think through, and once you're able to avoid this red line in the form that boss wanted to hear, then you will get your promotion fast.